Some viewers may find the following video offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
Elite FPL, baby!
Viewer discretion is advised. Warning. Some viewers may find the following video offensive. Viewer discretion
Blah,
is
blah,
advised.
blah, 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 blah. Hello. Welcome to the end of season Elite FPL season review showcase with myself, Jason, Steve-O, and in the Discord, the best of us this season anyway, Dan. Hello, gentlemen.
Good evening, Jace. Good evening, Dan.
Hello to everybody in the chat. So basically, we've just got the people that did well, because all the shit people have left, and we'll see them in August.
We won't, Jace, when I tell them they're not involved in the YouTube chat league. But
Oh, throw that grenade in the chat, go on. No, we're here to talk about the end of the season, how people did in their respective mini leagues, and certainly how we did. Well, spoiler alert, I did shit. But enough about me. Dan, you're in a good mood. Tell us why you're in a good mood.
Just had a lovely bath, Jason. That's why I've also moisturised, washed my hair, and I feel great.
You moisturised.
Oh, for sure, mate. I'm 39. I've got to look after my skin.
Okay. And when you have a bath, tell me, Dan, do you crank up the temperature? Do you get a steaming hot bath, or do you like lukewarm baths?
No, I get hot, mate. Epsom salts.
Oh my God!
This is life now.
Look at this.
This is life.
Pampering.
Not going out clubbing all night. It's mixing Radox with a bit of Epsom salts. That's the highlight of the day.
This is more interesting than my FPL season. I'm very interested in knowing. So, where'd you go down to the? Where'd you get the Epsom salts from?
Poundland.
Poundland, you cheapskate. We've got to look after my looks and appearance with Poundland.
Cost of living.
Epsom salts. Hello to everyone in the chat. I want to say hello to all the we've got FPL Juice here. Look, there we go. FPL Juice, FPL Matty Win-A-Lot's here. I think he camps in the chat. Matty Win-A-Lot. I think he's got a little pitch with a tent. He just sits in the chat waiting for us to go live. Hello, Danny Boy. We've got Matthew. We've got Sparta. We've got Podney. Bloody hell! We've got a moderator in the chat. What's the matter? Did you shit the bed or something? Hello, Odin. Millie Milic. Shagir's here. We've got Daz here, 316. Funny we've got no football on. We've got moderators showing up. Alex Sweet, we got Fire Talk. Yeah, I've got another one.
They're coming out of the woodwork.
Good evening, Fire Talk. I'm going to run a bath after this. Love me a bath, says Animations. Yes, not very good for the environment, though, are they? You should have a shower instead. Or alternatively, don't do anything. Stand out in the rain. Genius Gamers here. Harbour Boy from the other side of the world. We've got another spanner in the chat.
I've got a surprise for Harbour Boy when we get to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. How about the FA Cup, says Podner? Absolutely fascinating. Do you know what? I have a confession to make. I actually wasn't able to watch it because I was at. I was at a dub fest. Dubs in the middle. It was called. Like basically, I got invited to go and join my brother-in-law and sister and experience one of these festivals where people get absolutely shit-faced and listen to live music, and there's like fair and activities, and there was lots of Volt VW camper vans everywhere and tents, and it was very surreal. The weather was quite nice, and I remember completely blanking out the fact that Man United were playing in the FA Cup final on that day. For some reason I didn't know, because I just lost track of my days, and I just didn't think it was that day. And I remember just seeing my phone with a notification saying that United stand, United win the FA Cup, and I'm like, what? So I'm like, ask around, I'm like, yeah, do you not know it was today? I was like, no. 2-1. Oh no! I was like, I literally felt a fraud at that moment. I felt a fraud. What United supporter didn't even know that they were playing at that moment in time, and that was me. And I went quickly to watch the highlights, the extended highlights, it made the day even better. It made the day go from great to even better. I must admit, I was very, very happy. I was happy that Ten Hag got the result. He's had a lot of criticism, rightly and wrongly, over the season, and players stepped up and performed and actually played as a team, where it kind of sets us in good stead for the next season, assuming that Ten Hag stays in, which I do think he will. I think it'll be very difficult for Ineos and Ratcliffe now, along with the Glazers, to boot him. Personally, I think it would be very polarizing for the fan base. Also, it's going to cost United a bit of money to do that. I think the best bet is to keep him for at least another season, see how he performs next season, and certainly reassess. I think that we've got a great starting point. Kobe Manu coming through this season. This is his breakout year, and I think he's going to go on to do big things, not just for the club but for country as well. And Garnacho, I think Garnacho is a talent that's we're yet to see his best, and if he can keep his feet on the ground and not get too carried away with himself and showboat, I think that he could be someone special as well. And Bruno Fernandes, of course, showing how vital a player he has been for Man United, in the sense of when he doesn't play in the odd occasion, you definitely see it, and when he does play, he has that ability to create moments and raise the morale in the team. So massive props to Man United and the and certainly the coaching team, Ten Hag, and I hope we see Ten Hag there starting next season. I think 75% of the Man United community supporters want to see that. So, but it's in the hands of the committee. But anyway, enough Man United. 2 trophies, 2 seasons. Yeah, very, very good. It is very good. It is very, very good.
Do you think he stays?
I think he stays. I think it'd be madness to sack him, but then United have done things like look at for example, look at Van Gaal, look at Mourinho, the way they kind of abruptly got rid of Mourinho, and certainly the one thing that I agree with Mark Goldbridge is that those managers the players stopped playing for, whereas I would say, and I agree with Mark, and that way he says like you can't really say that about this crop of Man United players. They've been pretty pants for large parts of the season, but they haven't downed tools. They still have been putting in the effort for the manager, and certainly the reactions from the players on the weekend with Ten Hag suggests that they've got a good vibe there. So let's see what happens. They kept Arteta after finishing 8th. Arsenal did. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That is the thing. It took Alex Ferguson 4 seasons. Klopp didn't just come in and magically revolutionise Liverpool. You've got to give managers time. And Arteta was given time. We are living in a new age of managers now where, you get 1-2 seasons maximum if you're lucky. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of clubs allowing managers to manage and to actually take the reins. Whereas I think it's becoming less and less now, especially in the top tier, when there's so much money involved. Giving that much power to one person to control the ins and outs and the ongoing runnings of the football club is very rare now. And again, I want him to stay. I think a lot of people want him to stay. How are the kids? They're good. One's keeping me awake, teething at the moment. The other one's crafting and getting me involved in outdoors and doing outdoorsy stuff. So yeah, keeping me on my toes from both ends really there. Marcus, hello to you, mate. Jacob, how many transfers do you think United will make and how many will go? This isn't going to be about Man United. This is a season end stream, but I think there'll be more. I think there'll be a good 8 to 10 transfers personally. I think over the next few months. If they keep Ten Hag, the Man United fans will complain again when he starts losing. I don't think that it's always it's a vocal minority that was shouting Ten Hag out in the first place. I've not said it myself, and I've been very frustrated. I've been blaming the players more because they've just not been rolling their socks up and carrying on. I think it's the mentality of the players as opposed to them downing tools for the manager. I think they actually have been. It's their own mentality has been knocked, and again, it's fine margins. It just goes to show that you can get a performance out of those players. It looks like Vincent Kompany is going to Barcelona, says Matty Win a lot. Do you know anything about that, Steve-O?
Yeah. Let's just talk about what Podner said about Arteta and finishing 8th. Dan, you must be genuinely over the moon regarding what's happened over the last couple of seasons with Arsenal, and obviously this season. Really, you must have been overjoyed by the team this year.
Yeah, I mean, that season we finished 8th, we won the FA Cup. It's worth saying in Arteta's first full season. So, yeah, I think like Jason said, obviously it takes time for a manager to, make his transfers, get a certain style of play. We had to get rid of quite a few bad eggs in the team as well. Some players had to go on free contracts to bode in his philosophy as well and his style. All these, setting the foundations and building the foundations takes time. But yeah, it's been an amazing season. I mean, obviously I was disappointed because to come so close yet finish second. But I mean, it is an amazing season still when you think about it, because the amount of wins we had was the most we've ever had in the Premier League in our history in a season, and second highest points tally as well. Some amazing results and performances, against Liverpool, Man City, wins at home, wins away to West Ham 6-0, sorry, so close yet so far. But I'm pleased, and I think already we're clearing out some more of the dead wood with respect to Cedric and El Neni, that they've been moved on, rightfully so. Lokonga looks like he's on his way out. And it's just, with next season, it just comes down to some of it's going to be injuries once again, and just good recruitment. That's so important, particularly in certain key positions. I think with transfers, for me, personally, less is more. So I'm thinking, like a lot of Arsenal fans, that elite goal scorer.
Yeah.
As much as we did score a lot of goals this season, and my friend and I have this constant debate about. I'm now the Havertz Defence League, having been his biggest critic at the start of the season, but it's proven me wrong really across the season, and that's why many people were getting him in the last sort of 7 or 8 game weeks of the season, in terms of linking other players in, like you likes of Trossard and whatnot, to get goals. So, but I do think there are just certain games like away to Man City, away to Bayern Munich, where, or even at home to Villa, where we needed a goal out of nothing, really, and just lacked that, that fox in the box, for want of a better term. And the man is Isaac, really, for me. That would be the player. But once again, this isn't fantasy football. This isn't Football Manager. It's not like easy to get a player from a Premier League rival like that, particularly with wealthy owners. And then centre midfield as well, looks like Partey would be on as well, which I think is a shame. But given his age and his injury record, it's understandable. But I think he was someone that contributed a lot towards the end of the season. But we need players that are fit. So, yeah, once again, I'm pleased with the season. Once again, the only slight critique, and
pleased with the season is an absolute. I just want to say now that if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be absolutely fuming.
What?
Really?
Yeah, because 89 points over the season. It's freaking incredible, and they've been performing so well to be literally right down to the wire last couple of games of the season. And I think this was Arsenal's biggest chance to win the Premier League in recent memory. I don't think they're gonna have another chance. I don't think they're gonna be anywhere near the running.
No, next season, Jace, it'll be Man City winning next year.
I think the gap this season, where Arsenal kept the pressure on City so much right to the end. I think next season it's going to be completely different.
Well, it's very similar to the Liverpool.
I think Man City will be running away with it in March. I think Man City will be winning the league in April, May, April time next season. I think they'll be so far ahead. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed on behalf of Arsenal, because it was just a few of the hurdles they've slipped up on. That bloody Aston Villa game.
Mm.
That was annoying. The draw, obviously the draw against City, at the Etihad, kind of for me was when that happened, I was like, Arsenal have got a blooming chance here of winning the league. In fact, it all rests on the remaining, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 games after that. Obviously, you've won every one apart from that bloody Aston Villa game.
Yeah, and that, but like I said to you, that particular game against Villa, the first half,
that would have been it as well, because you're that on goal difference. You're the same.
Yeah, well, that first half against Villa, we had opportunities. We played well, but there were weaknesses in terms of not finishing chances. I don't like to single out players, Jason, but left back is a position, and Zinchenko, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but defensively, he's caught out in that game, and yeah, it's frustrating. But people say about the Villa game, I mean, the game for me, and people forget about it, is the draw at home to Fulham at the start of the season, or near the start of the season, when we were 2-1 up, and Ketia had scored, and Fulham equalised in injury time with 10 men. So
yeah, I mean, I go back to the December as well, the loss to Fulham.
Yeah,
and,
Fulham
and West Ham. Right. West Ham just before, just after. It was just West Ham. It was draw against Liverpool away, which you can understand. That's a tough fixture at Anfield. And then you had a loss to West Ham, which was a bit of a little bit of a shock. And then you had Fulham beating you 2-1, and it's like,
well, that was a time when Man City was slipping up in December, because they were drawn to Chelsea, and they'd lost away to Villa. I know we did as well, but I mean, losing away to Villa and losing away to Newcastle.
City, looking at City, it started they drew a load of games. They drew against Chelsea November the 12th. Then they went to the 25th of November. They drew against Liverpool. into December. Then they drew against Tottenham 3-3. They lost to Aston Villa, ironically, 1-0 in the 6th of December. And then you had Man City, Crystal Palace. They drew against Crystal Palace on the 16th. But then, they gave even more opportunities. They obviously drew against Liverpool later on in the season on the 10th of March. And then they drew against yourselves. So it literally was like, for me, I honestly think that this season was a massive hiccup for our, like, I think it's the closest Arsenal are going to be to winning the Premier League. If I was an Arsenal fan, I would be just so bitterly disappointed. Disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, I was, but yeah, I mean, the last weekend of the Premier League, I was gutted afterwards. But I think realistically, like I say, it's like Liverpool had it for years, didn't they? They had one season where they got a crazy amount of points and they still didn't win the league. And I think last season was more disappointing because we were in we had a position where we were ahead by a lot of points, and in my opinion,
Do you know what points Man City got? Sorry to cut in, but do you know how many points Man City had last season to win the Premier League?
Oh, no, not clear. Go on.
I'll give you a clue. It's the same points that you've ended up the Premier League season on.
Yeah,
it's just like it's just, it's just so. I mean, obviously Liverpool had it. Looking back in 2021-22, when they will finish 1 point beyond City. City just seem to have done this so many times where they've just literally just had the one or 2 points extra just coming through for them. It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I honestly, like, United have had a shite season, finishing 8th, but I personally think, like, from a frustration point of view, Arsenal picked up no silverware and they basically got beat in the last, 2 games of that season? It was like, how many, when was that game? Remind me, Dan.
Well, I mean, that game was it game week 32 or 33? I can't remember exactly, but I know after that we won every game.
We had five games you had to win it. And it was
the way I look at it, like, over the last 3 years is literally like we've missed out. So, like, 3 years ago, we missed out on the top 4. Then obviously the season before we finished second, we were top for so much of the season. This season we were like back and forth chasing City ahead of them, but not much in it. So to me, I just see progression over time. But with the way things are in society and just football in general today, like, we just look at it as one season. But I actually look at it as, even 3 years ago, there was progression of, like, Odegaard coming in, Saka becoming a prominent player. So I just look at it as moving forward. Like, even in the Champions League.
What's your outlook for next season? What's your outlook for next season? I'm saying, like, this is like this was your moment to shine.
No, I think we'll be up there again next season.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive, but like I said, a lot of it comes down to injuries, which, relatively speaking, we did well with last season. But I think Partey would have made a big difference. But Timber's obviously back now as well. But I think it's getting those right key signings in. Seeing
it really is. Do you think you need strong transfer window?
Yeah, I think for me, it depends what I mean. I'm a big fan of Tomiyasu, but I'd like to see a proper left back in there, really, a natural left back in there, defending and attack, a real top one, a real top striker. Centre midfield is going to be a bit of an issue because Lokonga's going to go. Elneny's has gone already. Partey looks like he might be off as well. Fabrizio Romano was saying the other day. So we need a bit of quality and depth there as well. Jorginho's obviously signed a new contract for a year or an extension, but we need some more strength in there, I think, as well. And yeah, I don't know what will happen with Nketiah, Jesus. There'll be some players going out. Ramsdale will be going. So we need to just fine tune that a little bit and keep on. But I think, yeah, like for me, we were just that one game off. And like you mentioned, I think December, people go on about the Villa game. Villa's a top team. Emery's come back.
Yeah, City lost
and
in
he's
that
got his
fixture as well.
revenge. Yeah, so I mean, that losing to a team 4th in the league.
No, I'm not.
I think it's like full of. That was the time, Jason.
You went back top after that, didn't you? You went back top after that game.
We picked up. Yeah, I mean, you're forgetting as well. We the FA Cup. We went out in the third round. So what I was getting onto is domestically, in the cups. That's my only criticism of Arteta, that we threw the game in the Carabao Cup against West Ham. Appalling performance. Against Liverpool, we played quite well, but we didn't finish, and then they took advantage of that, and we were on a real down at that point. And we managed to turn things around. We beat Liverpool when they'd gone on this long unbeaten run. You know, we had some amazing results away from home, smashing teams up, scoring goals for fun. You know, great defensive performances away at Anfield and Etihad, which we've not seen before. So there's a lot of positives.
Saliba and Gabriel have been absolutely amazing for you.
Oh,
and we talk. You mentioned injuries. I mean, I would argue that if one of the two had an extended period out on injury, I think Arsenal may have not have been that close to City come the end of the season. I think some of the wins and narrow wins that you got throughout the season may have not have ended up in with that, because you've been so good at the back, keeping teams out, and that defensive partnership has been so good. I think that, maybe something that who's your best choice centre back if
This is the issue. I mean, we can
because you've got not a lot of depth. You haven't got an amazing amount of depth in the. So, like, God forbid, like one or two of those got injured. Like if you had a Man United situation where Varane and Martinez got injured, and you're having to play left backs and midfielders in defence.
Yeah. I mean, Kivior can play, but he's quite young and still a bit raw. Ben White can play centre back.
Yeah.
That is his first season. He's got that understanding with Gabriel. But yeah, I think you've made a good point there. That's another area where
got another thing to mention as well, Dan. Is that if City do get found guilty of these charges, you might end up getting presented the trophy. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it happened with Juventus all those years ago, didn't it? For I
personally think if they were going to do that, it would have been done by now. I think they wouldn't have waited till the end of the season and the trophies to be lifted before. Yeah, I think money is a powerful thing, and City have got plenty of it, and they're fighting everything tooth and nail in courts.
My friend made a good point a few years ago. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. He said he's just bored of Premier League. Like he said City are going to dominate it. All he's interested in is non-league football, like Torquay, and international football, England. He's not really interested in Premier League and United. He's a United fan. Well, he was, because he just thinks it's just too predictable, and it is getting quite I still love Premier League, watching games, playing fantasy football, but yeah, I was hoping if we didn't win it, Liverpool would win it for Klopp's last season and to make it a bit more interesting.
Well, am I right in saying that Pep's announced the next season is his last season at City? Am I right in saying that, or is that a rumour that it's not been verified?
It's just rumour, isn't it? I mean, he's sort of not really giving a straight answer. So, but at some point, surely, he's done it in Germany, he's done it in Spain. Maybe he'll want to try Italy at some point, or managing the national team. I don't know, but yeah, I mean,
he's take over for Vincent Kompany at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, talking about Vincent Kompany, strongly rumoured to be moving to Bayern Munich.
Here are some of the latest. It's done.
What do you mean it's done?
He's going to be manager.
Okay.
That is
I heard rumblings, but I've not seen anything news article headline related about the confirmation of it.
Yeah, it's a done deal. It's just
it's a done deal.
When it comes out,
it's just personal terms and all that needs to be sorted, right?
It's embarrassing.
Why is it embarrassing? Why is it embarrassing?
Why is it embarrassing? Because Vincent Kompany is not proven. He's not a proven top quality manager to take over a team like Bayern Munich.
Do you wish him well?
At the end of the day, you could take over Bayern Munich. You could take over Manchester United and Manchester City and do pretty well in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's like an open goal, Man City, to be fair.
That they've got, but I'm going to be fascinated.
Man City have got everything set up already, haven't they? And whoever takes up takes over from Pep has got a great academy with great talent coming through. Facilities are great. Money to just throw at anything. You can literally throw money at anything. I mean, financial fair play doesn't count for City anyway. Right. Well, yeah. It's sad for you then. Sad for Steve Vincent Company leaving. Or do you think he's just gone for the money and you think he's a bit of a sellout?
It was said all along by Anderlecht fans when he came to us that he does not care about Burnley. He didn't care about Anderlecht.
So it's just a stepping stone.
It's just a stepping stone.
Yeah.
But to go to Bayern Munich, I mean, good luck to him. As David Brent says, good luck. But I cannot see him. In fact, I would not be surprised if he was fired halfway through the season.
Wow.
I'm not going to be keeping up to... Well, I say that, but I'm not going to be keeping up to date with anything to do with Bayern Munich next year. Mm-hmm. All I will care about is what's happening with Burnley in the Championship, because next season the Championship will probably come back up again because of the size of our squad and the quality of our players. It's more than likely going to happen. So it's just a case of which particular manager we're going to be bringing in. By all accounts, Steve Cooper looks like it could be the likely individual, but a lot of talks coming out on social media regarding the board are looking for an exciting new upstart and something that's out of this world. It's just stick to someone that knows what they're doing in the Championship and within reason can stick to a philosophy of what we've got, which is just pass and press. So that's what we need to be doing.
You got a good chance of coming back out of the Champions League. It's not an easy league to get out of, but obviously you've done it a few times now.
We'll be in the top 6 easily next year.
Okay. So you'll be minimum playoffs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Minimum.
Can I just let's move away from individual clubs now. Let's talk about fantasy football. Now, I'm probably the most
fantasy what?
Fantasy football. Let's talk about fantasy football. So. Let's talk about fantasy football 2024-2025.
Yeah.
Can we at least go over what the winners of the?
Yeah, no, we will do. I got a question. I got a question for you. Just a kind of a very short, sweet answer. We know how much time that you spent initially starting off doing fantasy football on the Premier League site, and also then you doing Sky Fantasy Football.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Are you first and foremost? Are you going to be doing Sky next year?
No.
Next question: are you going to be doing Super Brew?
Yeah.
Next question: are you going to be doing the Fantasy Challenge?
I've got a question. Will I be doing Elite FPL?
Yeah. Will you be doing Elite FPL?
Will I be doing...
next season?
Am I doing Fantasy Challenge? No.
We signing Steve-O for another season of Elite FPL. Fantasy Challenge then, no?
No.
What's that? What's the main reasons for doing that? Just do you think?
Because I have I literally have zero interest. It's the simple answer.
It's an interesting concept. Like I do think that having no commitments. You start each game with a blank team sheet, reset budget, new challenge. Can't play this week, no problem. Leaderboard start fresh every week. It's a very casual game.
Yeah.
Now, what impact is that going to have on the Fantasy Football Premier League game? Are we going to see the casuals move on to this and have more hardcore stay in? Or I just don't know. I mean, are people going to take... I guess what I'm saying is, are people going to take Fantasy Challenge seriously?
No. I know you don't even go on X. I've muted virtually every single FPL account that I follow on X. So the only thing I see regarding X is on the For You section, which is just an algorithm that's pumped full of various things that I like. So when it comes to FPL Challenge, I didn't really see any buzz around it at all. I'm sure there'll be someone in chat going, I played it. I thought it was amazing. I'm sure you did. Well done to you. I think it was less than 1 million people that participated.
I think they should have looked at this via fantasy football. What was it called? The one that they were looking at paying. You pay for a small fee.
Yeah,
ultimate fantasy football. I think that would have been a better.
Agreed.
venture for Premier League, but I don't know whether it was interest levels or whether it was legal reasons they had to suspend.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it was interest. I think it was the interest levels. And I will still continue saying this. I think that this season, FPL will come out and say that we've looked at FPL Challenge, we've taken certain things on board, and this is what we're going to do next season.
Because, okay, last question on fantasy football then. Any changes this season to the chips, to the structure of the game, or is it going to be the same old fantasy football?
I think the only thing that is going to happen next year is they're going to change the deadline to first kickoff. That's it. That's the only change they're going to do.
What do you mean change the deadline to first kickoff? Explain.
So when the first kickoff happens, so 12:30 or
wait, so your deadline will be straight on the kickoff? Yeah,
like Sky, yeah, because that's what they did in Challenge. That's what I think they're going to do.
So all these in the know accounts, for the first day anyway, at least it's going to become less. Well, it's going to become irrelevant, isn't it, for a lot of Twitter content? Well, the in the knows saying this player is going to be dropped for this game, it won't matter because we get the team sheets an hour before, and if you're saying that deadline's going to be kick-off...
The thing with the in the knows is that it's no coincidence that the information that they released benefited them. So for argument's sake, if you needed the in the knows for Man City versus Liverpool, they went really, really quiet. Because why? Because no one cared. Because no one had any interest in assets from Man City or Liverpool. But the second it's Man City versus Burnley, 300 days before the match, Haaland starting, thumbs up.
No, but I think what Shigeru's saying lots of in the know still have info 2.5 hours before. It's all very well and good having information 2.5 hours before, but if you don't need to know the information until team sheets come through, and it literally is in black and white, because if say for the sake of argument, I don't know, Liverpool versus Man City are playing on a Saturday lunchtime. And then Sunday afternoon, Man United's playing,
Tottenham,
Southampton or something, Tottenham, whatever. No in the know is going to give me any information on that game, and by the time the deadline's gone, I've got no. It's irrelevant anyway. So I guess. So basically, what I'm saying is, and I'm sure you are completely agreement with me, is that you only want to know about the early kickoffs because you've got the power to change things on the news regarding the early kickoffs.
But you'll know the team sheet, remember, before.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying about in the knows. Yeah. There's not going to be any of these trolls on Twitter going, injury, or he's not turned up to the hotel, or he's not, he's been dropped from the team.
But in the know like that, that's quite interesting. For instance, because most teams, they turn up a day before the match and they go to the hotel. So information like, I didn't see Kevin.
But it won't matter, is my point. My point is people that hang on every word on these accounts, that of course there's been trolls, but the people that literally spend so much of their time researching what players are going to potentially be out, starting, etc., to affect their fantasy football game, if they are going to move the deadline to kickoff, then it makes it completely irrelevant because you're going to have that information within an hour of the game updating. So you see on the official Twitter that Haaland starting, or Garnacho or whoever that you've got in your team. That's great. I can switch my team around, have him playing, or vice versa. You see that, Dallow's been dropped or something. Oh, great. I'm going to have to put him on the bench now.
Yeah.
Because I know that he might come on in the second half and get me 1 point.
But this is what I'm trying to say, is that these idiots that follow these accounts, well done to them, because they're bringing you information that is unbeknown to us. But
Shigeru's in the chat saying that you'll have more leaks on the 3 p.m. games if the deadline is back at 12:30.
Right. Okay. But what I'm saying is that a lot of the in your knows, it's all for benefit of them, literally them. That's all they care about. if it's no coincidence that the information that you want to get out of them regarding certain things, it's silence, because they know it doesn't benefit them. But the second it's Man City against Leicester, Friday evening, 7 hours before the match, yeah, Haaland's playing. Brilliant, because it benefits them. But
Odin says, I hope they do something about prices. Start with the higher player prices.
It's not going to happen.
Right, so
James from Planet FPL and various other people make the same bloody point. If you
price
really
is
think
a joke,
they're going to put Haaland to 15 million, which they should, you're laughing into the tree of the mental hospital that I work at.
I got an idea. I've got an idea. Now, what do you guys think of this? Chat, please let me know, chat, what you think. Just come into my head like a mothership has just beamed the idea into my head. Steve, you'll give me an opinion. Dan, come in as well. We all know that people like the big hitters, yeah, the Haalands. You know, to be honest, in recent years, there's been less and less of them. You know, Salah was off the boil completely, but you know, it used to be, you know, back. I still remember the days of, you know, Robin van Persie and Suarez and all that, and it was like there seemed to be more of the heavy hitters. But what I'm trying to get at is, what about an idea that the premium players, the players that are worth, say, 10 million or more, if you own that player from that club, instead of having a maximum of 3 from that club, you get dropped down to a maximum of 2. So, for example, you've got Haaland, De Bruyne, and Gvardiol. But under the new format, if you have a premium asset from that team, you are only allowed 2.
Well,
so it means that people would have to skirt around these players.
Well, that would mean then, though, that the coding...
Bringing in Bernardo Silva, and you'd have, like... Say again? The coding.
The coding for these...
I don't know if it would be a big uptake.
Works, but...
I don't think it'd be a big change in the coding. But, like, if you think about it, we want to see diversification. So...
Yeah, but the game doesn't. The game wants as many newbies and casuals as possible to play. They want the likes of De Bruyne.
If you want 3 Man City, you have to choose 3. Or okay, maybe not just the 1. Maybe if you've got 2 premiums from the same team, then you get reduced to 2. So you're allowed 1 premium and 2 lesser, because obviously everyone picks the popular picks, right? From the, you know, so for example, the template becomes a template for a reason, yeah. And you often see the 3 players from the Arsenal, from the Liverpool, from, you know, not so much Man United, but you know what I'm trying to get at. And then Spurs, and then you've got, you know, Aston Villa, etc., etc. I think that maybe introducing an element where certain players, certain threshold players, restrict your ability to select 3, and then it just creates this problem or this dynamic within the game where people are like, well, actually, maybe I'll go with 3. I'm going to go with 3 Arsenal, but I'm not going to choose Odegaard, or I'm not going to choose, you know, Gabriel or Saliba. I'm going to go with a different player. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I think you've just answered the point. That's too complicated. The game doesn't want to be complicated. That's FPL challenge.
Maybe.
That's the thing. The game wants to appeal to every single human being on the planet that likes Premier League. It's like Burnley talk about when it comes to the Premier League.
But it's too easy to go on. Yeah, but it's too easy to go on Fantasy Football Scout or other venues for your information and just go with the template.
You need to. I may even send it if you want me to. There's a guy. You
can literally just follow FPL Mate or Andy Let's Talk FPL and just copy their teams, get the most popular template picks in, and just cruise for the. And to be honest,
next year.
And to be honest, if I'd have done that, this season, I would have been up there with Dan, if not higher. Just gone with the safety picks. Gone with how many times? I mean, agree if you want, Dan, Steve-O. How many times did I try to go against the grain and do something different, and it just literally was like a sledgehammer to the face?
To be fair, this season's the first season where template actually won. It's very rare.
It really did win. Like, it did really.
Look at Harbour Boy. Throughout the whole season, he literally chose template only, and he ends up 2000th in the world. Because he literally, there was nothing different about his team whatsoever. Whereas someone like John Harris, he went with what makes John Harris a really good player is the fact that he sticks with template, but there's the 2 players which are differential, and people like John, they nail it. Idiots like me and you, we're crap. We always end up picking like, I don't know, Richarlison or something like that, and they fail miserably.
I remember when you picked Kulusevski. Yeah, that was another one where you banked a bit of hopes on him. Like, so, yeah, I think that
he did well in the final.
But I'm not
going
to let this season change the way I play FPL. I think I'd rather go with my gut. But Dan, yeah, go ahead.
Guys, I'm just listening to all of this. I mean, no, I think it's your idea is very interesting, Jason. But like Steve-O says, it's how do you almost like do you apply this to all of the clubs? Because each club has like a standout.
Yeah, because certain clubs, each club does have a star player. So
how do you weigh that against like?
That's a good idea. So literally, you highlight the players, star players. You put a star next to their name, like star player, and it can change as well in the season. Like for example, Cole Palmer, for example, like a star player will emerge. Right, all of a sudden, star players emerge. They become star players. You can't have them as one of 3 in that team. But if you've already got them in your team, you can have them as 3.
There's a game that Trigger Lips plays. I don't know how. I don't even know what the game is, but literally every single week, the player prices change based on the performance last week. So, for instance, Cole Palmer, game week 1, he's playing Norwich, and he's at 9 million. For argument's sake, he's £9 million in the game, right? Cole Palmer against Norwich, he gets 2 goals and an assist versus Norwich. The following week, his price isn't 9 million. It then goes up to 12 million. So if you want to buy him, you have to pay 12 million. And then if, for instance, in game week 2, he's playing, Southampton, if you want to bring him in, he's 12 million. But then in game week 3, he's playing Liverpool, his price drops down to 9.5, 10, whatever. That game actually exists. I mean, it's a lot more simplistic the way it's described in the actual game, but these games
I don't think the game's going to change. I would like them to make some brave changes to the game to make it freshen it up a little bit. It's a bit stale, but anyway, you're right, they don't want to make the game too complicated for people that
you think the just look at the content,
the run of the mill,
the content that's made about FPL, it's so basic and clean cut that it gets so much engagement that they don't want to complicate anything. It's simple. They will not complicate the game. They want people to be like, oh my God, I've got Haaland, I've got Isaac, I've got Kevin De Bruyne, I've got Salah in my team, and I've still got 10 million left in the bank. This is great.
What about introducing a transfer window? So that, like, I'm reading Shigai's comment here. I saw a good suggestion. You can't make transfers after the game week starts. Then when the game week ends, FPL adjusts the prices, and then you can make transfers.
Yeah, that's kind of what this.
That's really good. I like that idea. But again, you're forcing people to access the game within certain time frames, where one of the biggest reasons for like players of the game enjoying FPL is because they can access their team and make changes anytime.
It's simplicity, isn't it?
It's easy and it is basic.
A chimpanzee could play the bloody game and still beat me and you, Jace.
Wow, a dead team literally a team that started off in game week 1 could have ended like 2000 or something like.
Of course,
if you just had the right to come. Yeah. So anyway, unfortunately, Steve is right. What he's saying, the game is made to be played by casuals, not by tryhards like us. So FPL Seb in the chat. EFL fantasy starts next season. Hope they take some risks with the game. Again, it's all about taking risks, and I think like you could definitely expand on the FPL game, but it all depends on what we're talking about. It all depends on the appetite of players willing to put in the effort and time to go and play the rules. That's why the thing. I mean, this challenge, the FPL challenge. Have they brought that in to be easy and casual? Like, do you know what that says to me? That they brought that in. They brought that challenge game in because they think that the normal FPL game may still be a bit too hard for casual players.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say about FPL when you speak to them. Oh, it's a lot of hard work to manage it for the season, which I get it. So that's what they've come out with this game, isn't it? To kind of
but it's a hard work. I mean, literally, I've done it. You can spend 5 minutes before deadline just finalising your team, set your captain. You don't have to put too much time and effort into it. Obviously, over a season, when you're planning, like the biggest thing from FPL point of view is planning your strategies around chips. Yeah, that is basically it. If there wasn't any chips, it'd be a piece of piss. Right, you just make your transfers whenever, whatever. You wouldn't have to plan accordingly for double game weeks. You would, but you wouldn't have to worry about bench boost. You wouldn't have to worry about your triple, etc., your wild cards, etc. So, no, I agree, and I think that, maybe FPL is too hardcore for casual players in that sense, because there is a lot of planning that goes into it.
When people chat to random strangers on the street and say, do you play FPL? And they go, yeah, I start the game off, but then I just give up. I mean, I could even look at the SJP Media league that I'm in, which is just basically chain wrestling family. I've won it by almost 100 points because you have a player called Benny Mac. This is his team, who he didn't touch all season. Lloris, Van Dijk, Trippier, Bueno, Reed, Odegaard, Almiron, Rashford, Grealish, Haaland, Watkins, Matthews, House, Martial, Fernandes.
I've got an idea. I've got an idea that came into my head about another chip.
And that's Fernandes, the defender for Man United, who you've probably never even heard of, Jason.
Do you want to hear my idea of another chip to be added to the game? And I want to hear your honest reactions and the chat. I would love to know your reactions. Another chip introduced to the FPL game. This chip is called Mystery Box.
Okay.
You play the Mystery Box chip, and you do not know. Right, this is the crazy thing, right? For 1 week, for 1 week only, a completely random team will be made. Yeah? No. So you don't know what players are going to be in it. But listen, this is the kicker. This is a kicker. Not only will you have random players that you don't know, but you'll also have an option to have more than 3 forwards in it. More than 5 midfielders in it. And all 15 players will score points that week. All 15 players will score points that week, but it's so random. So basically, to offset the chance of getting a shitty player, you've got the chance of getting another forward, yeah, and you've got the chance of not only that, but you've got a chance of having more than 3 forwards playing for that 1 week. And you could easily set it up that the players in the mystery box have had to have played a minimum of 500 minutes.
Again, it's an idea. But...
Then how cool is that? How cool is that? And you don't know your team, because when you click the mystery box, every player goes grey and like a mystery, yeah? And you do not know your team until the fucking game updates. So literally, that is such a fucking good.
I'll have a word
chip.
with my new best mate Gianni Batiste. I'll let him have a word with the...
I would absolutely love that. That to me would be chaos. It'd be chaos because you wouldn't know who you got, but you've got the ability of just playing it, and it's like one of these chips where like it's not a wild card. It's like it's completely random. But at the same time, you know that the players have got to play an X amount of minutes, say 500 minutes minimum. The players have to play for their clubs.
Game week 1 selection.
They can't be injured. They've got to play a minimum of 500 minutes, but they're completely random. And the great thing about that is that you've got players that you never would have brought into your team playing, and like you're going to be like suddenly rooting for them. And oh my god, it would be brilliant. Terrible idea, Jace. Mystery box. It's a great idea. How would they pick? No, the captain would be the captain.
Is the most expensive player.
You can choose on your mystery box to captain a defender, goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, attacker. You select what position you want to captain, and then it will just randomly pick a captain. So, and again, it may be a chip that no one uses, but it could be a chip that people would play for fun. I don't know.
Dan, do you think deeply into this, or?
The mystery box chip for me is personally, I would love it, because imagine how much fun it would be if me and you were neck and neck. Last game of the season, we had the mystery box chip. We both decided to play it. Oh my God! You talk about tossing the coin, because
is there much point? I keep beating you
because oh, shut up! I'm still ahead of you, I think, on seasons. But anyway, the truth of the matter is, one of the things you got to remember, Steve-O, right, is that one of the biggest complaints, certainly I see and I have in the game, is that everyone's got the same team and template. The mystery box would be another. This would be another way of diversifying the game a little bit. And obviously, the mystery box played for that 1 week, and it'd be like a free hit. It'd go back to your normal team the week after. I think it's a really good idea. I think it's a really good idea.
I'm not dismissing it, but again, they're not going to do anything.
Mystery
like that.
box. Yes, Shigeru, you're right. Get this mystery box. Yeah, to offset the randomness of it and getting shit players. The mystery box will automatically captain your highest scoring player. Oh, boom!
You seem more excited about this than the future of Elite FPL. I mean,
no,
he's changed in the last hour, man.
Mystery box chip. The captain is basically selected. The highest scoring player gets captained. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Before the stream started, just behind the curtains, Jason was verging on hanging himself. And
hello, that's a bit dark, isn't it?
You got Dan that's
tired
to be taking certain particular.
And
all of a sudden, it's turned into this happy hour of creating new.
No, I'm really liking that idea of a mystery box, and Shigeru's suggestion that the captain on the mystery box, you get a random. You could end up having like 8 forwards play, yeah, and it'd be so random what players you get in. They've obviously got to fit certain criteria. They can't be injured. They've got to play a certain amount of minutes, and then the captain is the highest scoring player of that week. That would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. That would be so good. It'd be so good.
Dan, how did your season go?
Yes, I mean, I didn't need any mystery box because it was a great season, and
screw you, Dan.
Well, Jason, every dog has its day, and this is my day, and
10 years later.
Well. You got to wait for these things, haven't you? You got to lay the foundations. You got to go through those seasons.
When you started this, you were in secondary school, weren't you?
I think I was in. I think I was just born straight out the womb. But I mean, yeah, it's been a good season. I think the main thing I've learned from this season is not to panic like I've done in previous seasons. So like, there was one particular game week where I got like 13 points or something stupid like that. One of the lowest point tallies I've ever had.
That'd be blank game week, Dan. I'll have a look for you.
I don't know if it was actually, Steve-O. It was earlier in the season, and it was just a mental game week. But there was obviously the double game week with Man City playing Brentford and Chelsea, and I remember being obsessed about getting De Bruyne in and thinking about taking Alvarez out, doing this -8. Oh my God, De Bruyne is back fit. He's going to explode. If I don't get him in, it's all over. But I was like, wait a minute, I've already got Alvarez. And I think Alvarez ended up getting an assist against Chelsea, I think it was. I could be wrong. But he ended up doing more than De Bruyne did in those 2 games anyway. And De Bruyne didn't play both of those games. That's just a isolated example. I have played it quite safe towards the end of the season, but I had a few nice cheeky differentials in there as well. The John Harris school of thought, really. I mean, that Ivan Toney, when he came back from his ban and I captained him, that was one of the highlights of the season when he hauled against Nottingham Forest. And that was people were like, oh, that's a bit maverick. That's a bit different based off no form from the season prior. But I just had a gut feeling and went with it. The only regret I've got was the bench boost. It was at game week 29, which really backfired. But apart from that, this season, the second wild card, I played it right. The bench boost, I played it right. And I think obviously for you two, obviously you're doing the channel week in and week out. And
I wasn't. I spent like 3 months raising a child, but
yeah. The point I'm going to make is that when you are on the channel, Jace, is it's very easy to overcomplicate
goes
things.
downhill.
No, but you think you have all these people chipping in with their opinions and all this information.
Dickheads,
and
sometimes a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can overcomplicate things, and I think for me, I've just tried very hard this season not to try hard and just to keep it simple and not panic. But I've watched, I've been lucky to watch a decent amount of football as well. Use the eye test. When things did start to go a little bit wrong for a few game weeks, that was when I wasn't following my actual gut instinct, and I went back to following my gut instinct and just like bringing in Mateta, for example, and based on what I'd
that's a great move. Yeah.
And even you need a little bit of luck along the way as well. There was a game week obviously with Arsenal away to Spurs when I benched Saka, and I think it was Foden that didn't play against somebody. I can't remember who it was now. Foden just wasn't in. It was against Forest, I think. And I got lucky because obviously Saka scored in that game, and it was that horrible FPL moment when you're cheering your team on, this player scores, you think, oh God, why didn't I bring him on? And then Foden's playing against, and then Foden wasn't in the squad. I don't even know if he was injured at the time, but so I had a little bit of luck there because Steve-O was kind of, what happened, Jason, was Steve-O was a bit like the Tyson Fury of FPL. He was giving it the big one and all this bully boy tactics, but I was, like Usyk, just standing my ground. And as soon as I came back on the channel for the last few weeks, he was giving it all this, all this talk, and I just stuck to my game. So yeah,
very good.
Well, it's only taken me 20 years, but you enjoy it well.
Quickly remind you of that day. It was game week 11. You got 16 points, and it was when Romero got a -4.
Oh, God.
He was sent off, and then they conceded 4 goals.
Yes, against Chelsea. Yeah.
Your highest scoring player was Matoma, who got an assist. And coincidentally, that was the weekend where Newcastle beat you lot 1-0 and Man City won 6-1 against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
In fact, the goal scorers on that day for Man City were Bernardo Silva, Akanji, Ake, Foden, and Doku.
Yes, Doku had a great game that particular game. I remember.
4 assists.
So that was just, and I looked at if you look at my team, I don't know if you can see my team, but I looked at the team and thought, wait a minute, that's not a bad team. These aren't bad decisions. It's just.
What, McGinn?
I think McGinn was playing. Actually, you slagging off.
He's quite good this season.
Yeah, he's been good. And was it Ward-Prowse near the start of the season where I was getting laughed out the building? And he started
every
well.
Week a penalty.
That was an early season differential as well. So there's been a couple of times where I thought, wait a minute, Ward-Prowse, that's a good signing for West Ham. He's not going to deliver long term, is he? But he had a decent spell. So I think that was a start to a good season where, people were mocking it in the chat and stuff, saying Dan's lost the plot, Dan's had too many Epsom salt baths, he's been doing too much of this. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
Moisturising too much.
On set pieces, England international, Premier League experience. So it's gone well this season, and hopefully next season it will go better, and I can finish above that other Bellamy brother.
Oh yeah,
that's the challenge. But Bellamy, he's a maverick as well, so it's difficult.
Right, let's close up by talking about who won the respective leagues, because time's getting on and I can't stay on for too much longer because I'm a party pooper. But Steve-O, do you want to again comment on the winners of the leagues? If I bring them up on the screen, any moment now, I'll do so. Right, where are we now? Right, we go. Start with what league? What do you want to start with? Steve?
Just start with the Rivals League, I guess.
Starting with the Rivals League.
There's going to be a common theme here, by the way, everybody.
Gary Horwood, who's in the chat. Hardboy, of course, doing very, very well this season. 26-22, it ends up the ranks of 1,300 in the world, just over 1323. Wins the Rivals League. And not only that, he's number 1 in the Mod League, in the FPL Members League. He's also number 1. He's number 1 in a lot of leagues.
Should have actually
the Trophy League
YouTube title. Yeah, Harbour Boy wins the lot.
Harbour Boy wins the absolute quadruple.
He won the Super Cup as well.
He won the Super Cup. He won Elite FPL Trophy League. He won
by the way, Jace,
you got to send a trophy to.
Well, here it is.
Oh! Hang on! Let me get you full screen. There he is.
That, I mean, it is tiny. I mean, if this was a Total Stealer podcast, I could say a filthy word.
You can get that in an envelope, can you?
Oh, actually, the box. This is the box is the size of my head. It's got loads of Watsits in.
It needs to stop it getting smashed. Yeah.
Loads of these Watsits in.
You can't eat those, Arbor Boy. You can't eat those.
The tiny little box it came in. But yeah, I'm a bit. I mean, this was just all an experiment. The trophy.
It's going to New Zealand. He'll treasure that.
Well, I hope he does, because it cost me £5. So it just says at the bottom
that's a lot of money in New Zealand dollars, Steve.
Elite FPL Trophy League winner 2023-24 Gary Horwood.
£5, really? That's bleeding.
No, it was. I think this was about £15.
That's really good.
I mean, it's tiny. I would get a bigger one. I didn't realise that it would be this small. But yeah, I mean, for a little prize,
it's going to cost you what 3 times that in postage.
I was going to say it's going to cost the patrons more money to just pay towards it.
Out. Oh, just Photoshop a picture of him holding it. That should be
No, but right. that'll be winging its way to you at some point when I get
in the near future. Well done. Yeah, well, is it right? Okay, let's just talk about. Would anyone else take part in the in these leagues that we want to talk about? Let's have a look. Congratulations, Hardboy.
I mean, unfortunate in all seriousness, Paulie missed out. If you want to mention him, 2 points, 4 points, and it was all because Saka
more than 2
play.
points. No, he's 19 points.
No, in the Trophy League.
Oh, in the Trophy. What? In
the Trophy League, he missed out by 4 points because
because you started it later on, didn't you? Started scoring and getting 20. Yeah.
Because Gusto and Saka didn't play. That's it.
Wow.
Because he played bench boost that day.
Absolutely. That is so unlucky. But Porrig did come through on his bench, 14 points. But yeah, that's unlucky, that is. Oh.
Just extraordinary.
So Rivals League, we got Sultan Saeed, second place. Onana, what's my name? 2,500 finished in the world. Very good there from Sultan Saeed. Then we got third place, John Harris. He did magic. Right, John Harris. Magic Men. 93 points there. Finished 25-61. Green arrows across the board there for John, finishing top there in a lot of his few of his leagues there.
I would say John and Paulie had the best ends to the season, to be fair. I think that them two really did storm. You can tell you just have to look at the trophy league.
YouTube chat league, pretty much the same. Obviously, John third there. Harry Daniels, Harry FPL Harry there.
And I'm glad
on a bit of a poor finish to the season, really, 48 points, unfortunately, but still managed to finish 5,400, a lot better than any of us, of course. 48 points, though. We will be upset with 0 from Fernandez. Lots of points on his bench. Oh, my God. Have you seen?
Yeah, I have seen.
Oh, my God. What's that? 34 points on his bench? Oh, my God. 34 points on his bench.
You won't hear him shouting on his channel, though.
That is gutting. That is absolutely gutting. Madeline Tudor dropped down to 4th. North London forever. 66.2543, finished 2,500 in the world. It's amazing finish. Well done to you guys there. Again, congratulations to Hardboy winning the Super Cup 2, of course. Right, I think we're going to close it down in a second. Any final words you and Dan want to say, Steve-O?
Well, Dan can say something, and then I will. Brilliant.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes. No. Just obviously, thanks for having me on. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Hope you all enjoy the summer and enjoy the Euros, and then come back strong for next season. And just thanks again for having me on.
Yeah. So there are going to be a lot of interesting changes next year to this channel. We're not going to go into any details now. I'm not willing to discuss it. But what I do want to say is that if you want to stay involved with Elite FPL, then the Patreon is open. It's free. You just have to literally just go, my name is Paul, and you can just join the Patreon for free. And there's going to be, within reason, podcasts relating with the patrons that send in comments regarding the podcast that are released. And what's also going to be happening over the summer is that myself and Dan, and hopefully Jason, will do some only Patreon only podcasts regarding the Euros, and maybe Dan talking about Arsenal transfers, maybe Jason doing Man United transfers. I don't really care, but it's all going to be free. I've suspended all payments, but if you want to just join the Patreon channel, you just literally just go on Patreon, type in Elite FPL.
Of course, we can push the Patreon from Game Week 1 onwards, can't we? So that's something which we certainly will do. And, certainly I want to get more involved with the Patreon next season as well. And Steve-O will ensure that I get a rocket up my bum and get involved in that. Obviously, the little one will be a bit older by that point. Oh, my God. So hopefully... Oh, my God, I'm saying it like it's next year. It's like, 3 months?
Yeah.
So, So he'll be there. So,
but this is the thing, though, Jace, is that the whole point of the Patreon is that maybe the people that join for free that want to participate in the trophy league and literally win a trophy, but obviously next year, I will be able to look into getting a bigger trophy, etc., etc. Is that I'm not being funny, but that will be the paid $4.99. But for now, if you want to just continue listening into Elite FPL, because the content on here is not going to be happening. So it's all just going to be done via Patreon. So
if you want to get involved into participating in all of our leagues, just stay tuned on that and join our Patreon for free if you'd like to join it and be up to date with everything. Join the Discord as well with information we posted in there. Also, we'll be having a meeting with the moderators over the summer at some point to just discuss with them what they want to do and how we want to proceed. And start afresh again next season. And how can I do better?
Yeah,
do much worse. Right. Final say, is that it, Steve-O, Dan?
Without going over it, I just want to make this point.
Subscribe to the channel.
Well, I wasn't going to say any of that nonsense. I was just going to say that
hit the like button.
The reality is, this is hands up my most miserable, most depressing season I've ever done.
Yeah.
So, and there's many reasons. I've already discussed it to death. I'm not going to go into it now. But whatever I may have come across, like at the end of the day, I do love this channel. I do enjoy participating with the chat and whatnot, and for future seasons or whatever, like we always keep banging on about, we just want to make this community grow, and it's about the community. This is what people forget, is that it's about the community, and that's why I do the Patreon podcast, because it's addressing patron comments. It's not about me. It's not a self-centered podcast. It's specifically about the people that listen in and tune into the show. So that's why we do it, really. It's for you. It's not from selfish purposes, basically. So just stay tuned, because next season there are going to be a lot of changes to this channel. But anyway, that's it, Jason.
Righto, let's clear off.
Yes, let's get out of here.
Cheers, everybody. Look after yourselves. Nice seeing you all here. Thank you for being supporters of the show. All the best.
And check out X for Jason's rendition of Falling in Reverse. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Check it out. Ronnie Radke.